Hi, and welcome to a special edition of the Lion and Lamb Ministry Christian TV show. Today we have something very important to discuss with you. We entitled this episode, The Agenda Behind Global Warming. And we want to get right into this. This is such an important topic. You see, the UN recently announced that global warming is leading inexorably to global catastrophe. Now, Al Gore won the Best Documentary Oscar for his disaster film and Inconvenient Truth. The news media beat the drum of climate catastrophe daily, all but ignoring scientists who say the threat is overblown or non-existent. And across America, school children are frightened to death with tales of rising oceans and monster tornadoes and droughts and millions dying, all because of man-made global warming. However, hidden just beneath the surface of the world's latest environmental craze is a stunningly different reality, as the March edition of World News Daily's acclaimed Whistleblower magazine documents. And that's where we found the story and want to bring it to you. The story is titled Hysteria, Exposing the Secret Agenda Behind Today's Obsession with Global Warming. Whistleblower tells the rest of the story the mainstream press will never reveal. Now, to begin with, those who believe the dire warnings of today's establishment press should know, as U.S. Senator James Inhofe has pointed out, that for more than 100 years, journalists have quoted scientists predicting the destruction of civilization by an alteration, either runaway heat or a new ice age, alternating rather, between a runaway heat or a new ice age. Okay. Believe it or not, over the last century, America's major media have predicted an impending global climate crisis 4 different times. I bet you guys have forgotten about that. Now, each prediction warning that entire countries would be wiped out, or the lower crop yields would mean billions would die. In 1895, the panic was over an imminent ice age. Later, in the 1920s, when the Earth's surface warmed less than half a degree, the media jumped on a new threat, global warming, which continued into the late 1950s. Well, then, in 1975, the New York Times headline blared, "A major cooling widely considered to be inevitable." Well, then in 1981, it was back to global warming, with the Times again quoting 7 government atmospheric scientists who predicted global warming of an almost unprecedented magnitude. Today, to cover all the bases, much of the press is changing its terminology from global warming to climate change, or climate catastrophe. You know what I'm talking about. You read it. Well, see, that way, they're covered either way. If the world gets colder, global warming is still at fault. But you see, hot and cold press coverage is just the beginning. And Whistleblower's hysteria issue reveals exactly why so many scientists, journalists, and others, even the president's speechwriters, now have been paid lip service to climate change, are so gripped by global warming fever. Here's a hint. As Deep Throat famously told Washington Post Watergate reporter Bob Woodward, follow the money. And this article in Whistleblower shows how all the main players, from the politicians and scientists to big corporations and the United Nations, benefit from instilling fear into billions of human beings over the unproven theory of man-made global warming. Now, indeed, just 3 weeks after the UN ratcheted up international fears over global warming, a panel of 18 scientists from 11 countries has now reported to the UN that the only thing that can stop catastrophic climate change is a global tax on greenhouse gas emissions. That's right. Global problems, real or conjured up, require global governmental solutions. And as Whistleblower explains, environmentalism is nothing less than the global elitist replacement ideology for communism and socialism. Look, with communism largely discredited today, after all, 100 to 150 million people died at the hands of communist visionaries during the last century, elitists who desire to rule other people's lives have gravitated to an even more powerful ideology. And now it's more powerful because it seems to trump all other considerations, as it claims the very survival of life on Earth is dependent on implementing its agenda. Thus, while scientists and climatologists who dare to question the rigid orthodoxy of man-made catastrophic global warming are openly ridiculed and threatened with decertification, the movement for global governance, complete with global taxation, is moving into the fast lane. Global warming will be one of the most powerfully coercive weapons in the globalist arsenal for the foreseeable future, said David Kubelain, WND managing editor and author of The Marketing of Evil. Here's what he says: it's important that everyone understands the game being played. Well, this issue of whistleblower provides a powerful antidote to all the hysteria, namely common sense and truth. We here at the Lion and Lamb Ministry felt it important that we get that information out to you. We hope it helps. Okay, until next time, walk with the King today and be a blessing. We'll talk to you later.